Yo guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're tier 4ing Invisible Woman. I initially planned on tier 4ing her because of her PvP value, as she's very useful in Otherworld Battle as a debuff support and also holds a decent standalone PvP value. She qualifies for the Blast Humane Female restriction. You don't have much competition there, so it's gonna be interesting to see how she does there. So yeah, without further ado, let's start with her tier 4 upgrade. So in this video, we're going to be testing her value in PvP first and then moving on to PvE. Now talking about PvP, she needs Franklin Richards' support ability, as Franklin Richard provides fantastic 4 characters with immortality. But first, let's enjoy the tier 4 animation. Nice, we finally have her at tier 4. Now we see an increase of 20,000 energy attack. However, I have to tell you that this is inflated since I had her using her own leadership. When you remove that, this is what her real stats look like. She has very good energy attack. However, she is very vulnerable, so you definitely need Franklin Richards' immortality on her. But yeah, this is what the rest of the build looks like. I have a 4-star artifact on her, but it's not that good for PvP. And on top of that, I'm using her with a mighty CTP of Authority. So this is what the team we're going to be running. Colossus paired up with Franklin Richards. We're going to be starting off with Timeline Battle up against a couple teams because I don't really think she's going to be doing that well here. We're starting off against a Wolverine Sentry team. We're buying time for her skills to be off cooldown. And let's see how she pairs up against this Wolverine. So yeah, as soon as she walks in, she actually triggers Wolverine's immortality and is successfully able to take out the Wolverine. The type advantage really helped. But yeah, now we're up against Sentry and we're absolutely cooked. See, she's not able to compete with the likes of the absolute top meta, but she still did pretty decently up against the lower tier top meta. For example, Wolverine. Now let's see how she does against a team with Silver Surfer, Null, and Wolverine. I'm thinking most likely she's going to be able to take out the Silver Surfer and die to the Null. But yeah, as we buy time and wait for her to pop in. But yeah, as soon as she comes in, she's actually able to take out Silver Surfer's first life. Now I wait a little bit for his reflect to turn off. And then as soon as I trigger my 4th and 3rd skill, we actually successfully take out Silver Surfer. I don't think we're going to be doing much against the Null. Yeah, we just end up dying to him, but honestly, we get a brief understanding of how well she's gonna do in Timeline Battle. Now we're gonna be moving forward into Team Battle Arena. I don't think she's gonna be doing that well because I'm not playing her manually here. Yeah, so we start off our first battle with a loss against a lower tier meta team. Next up, we have another team. I picked a weaker team compared to before, and I also made some changes to my team. I added the Silver Surfer Shalabal. And it seems like she's the one who's surviving at the end, and we still end up losing. So her kit is very weird. She doesn't have a specific iframe skill. However, she has ignore targeting in her uniform. As she gets hit, she turns invisible. But she does have native penetration in her 4th skill. Overall, I still don't think her standalone value in PvP is good enough for either of the 2 game modes we just tested. But yeah, we wrap up our testing in Team Battle Arena and we can finally move on to Otherworld Battle. Now this is where her PvP value shines the most. As I said in the beginning of the video that I initially planned on tier 4ing her because she provides your allies with debuff. And it's very important in Otherworld Battle. As you can see here, she's performing decently and contributes enough to the team for us to win the game. You often see her being used in Otherworld Battle with Mr. Fantastic and Franklin Richards for seasons where a lot of the top meta characters are restricted. Yeah, you have alternative characters who provide you with debuff. However, she also has better standalone value than those specific dedicated supports. Now for her standalone value to be much higher, you need a better artifact on Franklin Richards. In this case, I'm not even using Franklin Richards, but for certain teams where you're using her paired up with Franklin Richards, the higher artifact you have, the longer she survives. Meaning she deals more damage and takes out the more of your opponent. Without Franklin Richards, her role is mainly a support. So yeah, keep that in mind before you build her. I wouldn't honestly recommend building her up for newer accounts. However, later in the game, as you broaden your PvP roster, she is a very decent option for PvP. However, you need to keep in mind that she is a very expensive character, as you need to buy the Fantastic Four Epic Quest to get access to her. So take everything into consideration before making a big decision like purchasing her. Aside from that, we can backtrack a little bit and talk about her build. I have her built with an authority. You can also use a conquest on her because conquest is overall just a very good PvP CTP. Additionally, you can also use her with a destruction. For the value I'm getting, I think authority is the best pick for her because it's not a very good CTP that you're wasting on a comparatively mediocre character, and destruction is not that good defensively. Now with that being said, we are done with our PvP testing. We can swiftly move on to the Alliance Battle Extreme run. Now before we do that, I made sure to put a mighty CTP of Rage on her. This is what our build looks like again for PvE. Now let's get straight into it. For the team, I'm using Ironheart paired up with Valeria Richards. Ironheart has a very good leadership, a support buff, and also I put a Liberation CTP on her. As for Valeria Richards, she doesn't have native support ability in her kit. However, with her artifact, she does have a decent support ability. I am using a 4-star artifact on her. As for Invisible Woman, she has 2 out of 3 Alliance Battle Extreme cancels. She's only missing Silence in her kit, and she obviously qualifies for the Blast Human Female restriction that recently got added to the game. As for her rotation, I pretty much cancelled everything into 4, but if I had to put it formally, it would be 6 cancel, 3 cancel, 1 cancel, 2 cancel, 5 cancel, 4. And with that rotation, she actually gets insane amounts of hits. And since everything is insta cancel, you can also use her with a proc CTP, but she'll only be useful in World Boss Legends and GBR with the proc CTP. I wouldn't recommend that if you are planning on using her in Alliance Battle. Now with that being said, we're near the end of this run. I don't think we're going to be able to hit 15 million. We're just going to fall short of it by a very small margin. But yeah, it's a decent score. I think the only other character that would compete up against her in this restriction is Sharon Rogers. I plan on testing them up against each other in this restriction to see who is better. But yeah, as a final verdict, I think this upgrade was 100% worth it because of her versatility. I can use her in PvP and in PvE when I need to. But yeah, for now, I'm just going to stick with the PvP build because I want to see how Sharon Rogers matches up against her. But yeah, that's the end of this video. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Was tier 4ing Invisible Woman worth it or not? If you guys like this video, be sure to drop a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. But that's it from me guys. Hopefully you guys have a great one and peace.